Hello and welcome back to the deciding game here between Jack Mitchell-Burns and Chin Heng. Jack will be starting off game 3 here, and indeed starts off as he started off a lot of games here with a Doomed Traveller.
Yep, looks very similar to his game 1 start so far.
Chin's having a really tough think about playing a land.
Yeah. I think a lot of that comes from testing as well. You just know what you're going to need on turn 2 and 3, so making those land drops should be immediate, and it does cost you time when you're thinking that hard about what you're doing, especially on just turn 1.
So Jack's got what he wants to start with, which is the Doomed Traveller and the Blood Artist.
Yeah, that's pretty much optimal for him. If he can follow it up with a Reckoner or a Lingering Souls, something like that, then Chin's going to be in quite a bit of trouble. Lingering Souls it is. The only thing that Jack does have a problem with at the moment is he doesn't have a source of red mana on the board. Pretty good Grizzly salvage for Ching there. There's 2 Angel of Serenities going into the bin there. If he can
Well, you
get...
certainly don't want to be drawing them, do you, right at the start?
Not really. In the junk Reanimator version, you don't mind it really because you've got the 4 Avacyn's Pilgrims and the 4 Arbor Elves, so you can accelerate it out fairly quickly. But in this deck, you've just got to make 7 land in order to play it.
So Jack's being the aggro deck at the moment.
I think that's going to be his role in this matchup. And 3 from...
Probably another couple of Lingering Souls.
The only problem that I have with that play is it puts you in Blasphemous Act range. It makes Blasphemous Act a live card for your opponent then. So you can now cast it on 4 because you've got 6 guys on the board. But I mean, if Chin doesn't have Blasphemous Act at this point, I'm pretty sure he's as close to dead as you can be, so... This is Jack just saying, show me what you've got, and if you've not got it, you are... you're pretty much dead.
It's that part of the game where no matter how many times you stare at the cards, they don't turn into good cards.
No. And if Chin does have Blasphemous Act here, I don't understand why he's not just casting it. I mean, it's fine thinking about what you might be wanting to follow it up with, but if you've got Blasphemous Act in hand here, what are you going to do? Wait another turn till the point where casting Blasphemous Act probably kills you? One thing you do have to realise, especially when you're in a PTQ, is that you are under time constraints.
And it's certainly going to be a long day for everyone here, as it is.
And Chin already does have a draw here as well. And there's the Blasphemous Act. And there's an interesting spot. He has discarded an Unburial Rites, but he's going to hit 5 next turn anyway. So the fact that he has now 3 Angel of Serenities in his graveyard, I'm not sure he's just better holding on to the Unburial Rites there. Just make 2 Angel of Serenities and swing for the hills.
I mean, we don't get... we kind of missed what he picked up instead of it.
Well, I mean, he had 8 cards in hand. I'd figure that one of them he could discard in order to get 2 Angel of Serenities. I can't imagine whatever he's got in hand is better than an Angel of Serenity. You should also realise that Jack's in real trouble here because he's not got any red mana source at all. I mean, maybe Chin's plan is very reliant on Thragtusk at this point to try and get him to sort of a safe life total.
It certainly feels like you're just hoping Jack doesn't draw his good cards.
Hmm. There we go, there's Thragtusk. So with that Thragtusk here, if he'd kept the Unburial Rites in hand as well, he'd now be able to, you know, have one Angel, and if Jack deals with it, a backup one. Mark of Mutiny for Jack there, so he's got both Mark of Mutiny and Zealous Conscripts in his deck at this point. And he's going to sacrifice Thragtusk to his newly cast Cartel Aristocrat.
Oh, Chin, you know, every time he just tries to get his life total back up, it comes straight back down again.
Chin just reading Mark of Mutiny there. It's already done its damage, Chin.
I do like that idea of saying a card is fine and then after it's resolved reading to find out what it does.
Yeah.
Seems if you don't know what a card does, it's probably best to look at it before it resolves.
And another Thragtusk from Chin.
So Chin makes his second attempt to get back up to double figures here.
Yep.
See whether Jack's got another Mark of Mutiny.
Jack does have red mana now as well, obviously, from last turn, so he does have access to the full range of his cards now. Can't imagine Ching's brought in Acidic Slime in this matchup. And again, this is a point where you say Jack more than likely does not have Mark of Mutiny or Zealous Conscripts, because if he did, Chin would currently be dead. So,
Well, Jack would have played it very quickly.
yeah.
If he did have either of those cards at this point.
Yep.
Jack's not one to slow roll like some.
No. So, again, this is where he slow rolls us the next time we play him, just for a joke. But I think that this is the point. If Chin doesn't die this turn, I think this is the point he should start just making angels. Or angel at this point, unfortunately, due to the fact he's only got that one use of Unburial Rites.
Do you pick up one of your own Thragtusks on the graveyard, or do you just get rid of your opponent's 3 creatures at that point?
I think you get rid of his 2 tokens and you pick up a Thragtusk. I think that's generally going to be the line that he's going to take. The deck does present you with an awful lot of options, though, because you've got all these flashback cards like Faithless Looting and cards like that. He's wondering how far he can go into his deck, but I just think that the things that he needs are there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the cards he needs are there for him to win. An Angel's Serenity and a Thragtusk will beat up Jack fairly quickly. And as we've already said, if he had a Mark of Mutiny or a Zealous Conscripts in hand, it would have already been used by now.
So we can certainly stop playing around cards like that from this point onwards in the game.
Yeah, there's Grizzly Salvage, so... And now he's got another decision. It's Olivia or Thragtusk in this situation, and... given how difficult it is for Jack's deck to overcome an Olivia, but I think he's playing a little bit safe here and going for the second Thragtusk. So he's back into double figures now. And with his third Thragtusk now, and this is
more importantly on 14 life. So
yep.
Just out of the Blasphemous Act trick.
Yep, very true. Although he's not quite out of range of it, because if Jack just nibbles him with the Spirit and then casts Reckoner Blasphemous Act, he's... So there are plenty of ways that Jack can nibble in for a couple of damage here. Game does slow down to a bit of a crawl at this point, because one mistake from either player here can pretty much mean game over right away.
It's a very frustrating position for people to be in. Round 7 of a tournament, knowing that you can't afford to lose another game, because it is a 300-person tournament. Even 7 wins doesn't guarantee you getting into the top 8, you know.
No, I mean 7 and a draw could very easily miss.
I mean, if you look at someone like Chin right now, you know, he's already had a draw, so it's quite possible he could end up winning a few more rounds and finishing on 7-1-1. And because of just the way Swiss rankings work, you know, we can end up with more than sort of 8 people on this magical score.
Yeah, there's an interesting play from Chen. He used his Unburial Rights to reanimate another Thragtusk. I think he's really playing around Reckoner Blasphemous Act at this point.
Paranoia is set in there for Chin.
I mean, maybe a little, but if Jack had Reckoner Blasphemous Act again, wouldn't he have just done it last turn? I'm pretty sure he had the mana for it. And if he just reanimates Angel of Serenity there, he takes 2 tokens anyway, so Blasphemous Act costs a lot more. And coming back to the point we made a lot earlier, if he had 2 uses out of that Unburial Rights, he could just leave nothing but 2 angels on the board.
He could also be a bit more liberal with swinging in with his Thragtusks. If he knew he could bring them back twice.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, these cards with flashback can actually be cast twice, guys. Just going for card advantage doesn't necessarily... you know, there's card advantage in reanimating something, in playing the spell twice.
Well, it's the most powerful card in Chin's deck.
Mm-hmm.
So why wouldn't you want to cast it twice?
Yep. And Jack with another mark of mutiny there. Taking one of Chin's Thragtusks.
I'm sure he'll be swinging with it.
Don't know about that. There is a Reckoner in play, so... I mean, obviously, if Chin does block with Reckoner, then Jack will just simply sacrifice the Thragtusk before damage, but...
Beasts for everyone.
Actually, no on that front, because Jack sacrificed his Thragtusk before damage, so... Chin does not get a beast, he just keeps his original Thragtusk.
Yeah, I was just hoping his opponent was extremely bad and not blocking.
Getting in a free 6 damage would be okay, putting your opponent on exactly 13. Hey look guys, guess what I might have? But again, Jack can't play Reckoner Blasphemous Act this turn, so... Does feel like a little bit there's a bit of worst case scenario thinking rather than what can my opponent actually have. And
yeah, I mean, there's definitely cards you can rule out based on how Jack's actually played what he has had.
And now Chin's he's counting his graveyard at the moment, which is signifying Harvest Pyre. Another card that this 4-colour Reanimator deck plays. And again, he's discarded Unburial Rights there with 2 Angels in the bin. I just really don't like this play. At this stage of the game, especially when he's got that many cards in hand and that many lands available, I just don't like discarding that Unburial Rights.
Not sure what he's holding that could possibly be considered better.
Not really. I mean, he's obviously holding Harvest Pyre because he wouldn't be counting his graveyard like that if he wasn't holding Harvest Pyre. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe he's using it as a quick way to count his library, but I don't think he's in any danger of getting milled. So I think we see Harvest Pyre here. Oh, Blasphemous Act definitely finishes Jack off now if he's got it. And he doesn't. So I do believe he has Harvest Pyre in hand, though, so Jack, I believe at this point, will not tap out if he's got a way to deal with that. Reckoner. It just says go. And we are in extra turns at this point, so it's whether Chin's going to swing for the fences here with his Harvest Pyre, but again, I think there have been opportunities in this game for him to go on the offensive, and he's been a little bit too concerned about not losing that he's forgotten about winning in this game.
And certainly a draw helps neither player at this point.
No. I mean, it puts Jack in pretty much sudden death mode, and he might even, and it might even depend on breakers if he wins out, whether he gets into the top 8. Grizzly salvage for Chin there, and he loses a Blasphemous Act to it, and he's off.
There's my email, sorry. 3, 4, 5.
Thing is, there might have been reasons that you wouldn't need that that Blasphemous Act if the game had played out a little differently.
1, 2, you're doing 2 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I can save 3 cards.
Yeah, this is going to be a pretty big Harvest Pyre. He's looking to. Looks like he's looking to win it here in extra turns. And there we go, Harvest Pyre targeting his own Boros Reckoner. And Jack's going to give himself Morbid and Tragic Slip the Reckoner in response.
Seems like the thing to do there, to be honest.
Just interesting to me how Chim was so animated the way that it was all being played, and Jack just calmly Tragic slipped his Boros Reckoner. And finally Chin makes that Angel of Serenity that probably should have been on the board a little bit earlier.
Well, it certainly could have been beaten down a few turns earlier. And it would have swept up Jack's board as well.
So Chin's going to do, I believe, what we recommended here earlier. He's going to pick up a Thragtusk from his own graveyard, and he's going to wipe out the 2 tokens. And Jack's going to put the effect on the stack here, it looks like, and he's got another Tragic Slip for the Angel. Do you wish to use the ability? And he does. And again, if he hadn't used Unburial Rights, he'd have another Unburial Rights to use at this point. But it looks like Jack is just about going to be able to survive here. And we are going to end up with a draw, unfortunately.
What, you can win this now?
I've always liked it when people play out their last turn.
Yeah.
Even when they know it's going to be a draw.
Yep.
Try and claim the moral victory by having better board position.
But anyway, that's it for this round.
Yep. So both of them moving up by a whole point, and it'll be a tough act for either of them to get into the top 8 from here.